we here? We are all connected to the stars. We are all one. Who do you want to be?
Hey guys, welcome to Gaia Intuitive's YouTube channel, where we talk all things extra-dimensional, spiritual, psychic development, the dream realms, and much more. So today I actually wanted to delve into some astrology, and it is something I'm very, very passionate about. I have been learning and studying it for roughly 6 to 8 years now, and I find it extremely beneficial in helping understand myself, those around me, the archetypal energies, and the natural way of the universe and how that has effect and pull over us and shapes not only us as well, but like collective groups and things like that. And just as much influence it has over the seasons and things, it really affects us as well. I think that astrology is not given enough credit, and it's really undervalued. It can help provide us, like I said, understanding the cycles and things like that of the seasons, and we tend to look at ourselves as external from that process, and that the world is happening and that we're in our own little bubble. And I find astrology really, really good to reflect upon, as we are part of that cycle, and the way that the planets move and the energies that they bring forth are reflected in us as well. So today I wanted to talk about Ceres, and Ceres is a dwarf planet. It is the largest and first discovered asteroids, found in the asteroid belt between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. In 1801, what we now refer to as the dwarf planet Ceres was identified, and this was a whole 150 years before Pluto was even located. So Ceres' asteroid title was eventually stripped in the early 2000s when the Kuiper belt piqued NASA's interest, and they began a quest to find out more about Ceres and Vesta as well. Vesta's another asteroid. So using the Hubble Space Telescope, they orbited, or they followed the orbit of these bodies. If you want to look into that, the mission was called Dawn. So the telescope was able to go up very close, and vast amounts of ice were identified. Craters and cryovolcanoes as well were found all over. So it's got a solid core, and its mantle is made up of ice and water. Potentially, the surface alone has like rock and water, and it's actually like a lot of the water is trapped in the rock and things like that. It's 90% water on its surface. The planet itself could be made up of potentially 50% water. Eventually Ceres was upgraded to the title of dwarf planet in 2006. Its position and orbit close to the sun allow for a lot of action to go on within the planet. Obviously with the heat from the sun, the effect on the ice. So the astronomical symbol for Ceres is represented by a sickle, which is a reaping hook for harvesting wheat or grass and things, or crops. It can be said the sickle is like the spirit emerging through earth, and then that can be associated with harvest, expansion, growth, and balance as well. The Ceres is looked at as the in ancient Roman religion, was looked at as the planet of grain and fertility. So it's reflective of the process of moving through the year, planting the seed, and then caring for it, nurturing it, and then benefiting from its growth, and then back again to that barren ground to repeat the cycle. The mother in ancient mythology, the mother of Persephone was Ceres, and Persephone was kidnapped by Hades and taken to the underworld. So there was like a deep grievance for the loss of her daughter. She actually, I think, announced there would be no joy or no abundance until her daughter was returned. She was returned, and Ceres did find joy again. So this is very symbolic of how we respond to moving through cycles on Earth, and our attitude toward that, what we require as well. As such, Ceres represents the Great Mother. She is the feeder, the nurturer, anything to do with parenting and motherhood. Emotional processing of being a parent. So that holding on and letting go, the need to detach and allow something to grow on its own. As a parent, we cycle very rapidly between nurture and discipline. So it's about finding that balance, and the energy that Ceres can bring in one's life can feel chaotic or exhausting. So it comes back to that need to create balance and harmony. It's also representative of family dynamics, childhood customs, or comforts, the innate need to have care. Also, it represents not just the protective instinct, but the underlying drive of that protective instinct. Ceres also represents the process of experiencing life in all of its various forms. So we can also look at this through womanhood itself and the different phases that a woman goes through in her growing and expansion, and things that are good for the soul as well, what we might term or good for the soul and good for the inner child, what we might term that feeling of home. So the way that you were nurtured or not nurtured as a child also plays a big role in Ceres, and what we require to feel safe and loved. It can also play a big role in how you give that care and that deep love and nurturing to the ones you deeply care for, any conditioning of nurturing as well from when you were a child, and how you allow others to nurture you. Also, how you nurture yourself on a deeply emotional level, but also the types of the sort of life that you live in terms of how you nurture your physical self, the food and the environment that you live in, being the mother of harvest and grain, it links in with digestive problems. So if you've got resistance and disharmonic energies reflected through Ceres, you could suffer digestive problems as a result. It can represent your own mother as well, so your own notions of motherhood, your journey as a parent in this life or on a soul level, through different experiences, raising or taking care of something that is in your care or that you deeply love. learning detachment as well is a big one with Ceres. So often it's a very, very fine line. So Ceres, being a large body of water, plays on our emotions, and the emotion of the mother is very graceful and delicate and nurturing and warm and free and allowing. But there's also an aspect of the mother that's fierce and protective, unrelenting, and can quite often become smothering. And that's the fine line. It's a very delicate line, and that's what we can learn through Ceres is the balance of that. So astrology connects Ceres with Earth sign, zodiac sign Virgo, representing the harvest. It's very realistic, supporting, responsible, practical, and it can also be associated with Cancer energies, which is more nurturing, empathetic, intuitive. Cancer really desires to be of service, especially to something it loves deeply. We can find through Ceres sometimes traces of or patterns that may lead to like the loss of a child in this physical life. Also the loss of, it could be the representative, it could represent, sorry, the loss of the inner child connection. Also reflective of the grieving process of something that we deeply loved. So from Ceres, we can learn that something never leaves us, it just changes form, just like the adult into a child, or even the human body when we die here, we're just changing form. So Ceres helps us to see others and transform, allow them, to transform before our eyes without too much smothering influence, and it allows us to love them and learn to love them unconditionally through their own journey, which again comes back to that detachment and understanding when you need to let go. Transformative energies reflect a sense of renewal as well. So that whole going back to that cycle of like death and rebirth, and then everything in between. I think the biggest lesson that we can take from Ceres is learning to surrender to the natural cycles and processes of life, as well as deep insight into our inner child and the nurturing that we require in order to expand our soul. In astrology, to find where Ceres is placed in your chart, you'll need to find the date where Ceres entered the sign closest to your birth date. I will put the dates in the description so you guys can have a look at which sign Ceres was in when you were born. Hopefully this can help you come to a deeper awareness of yourself and help you on your journey. I hope you liked this video. Please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if there is any specific astrology related content that you would like me to cover. Until next time, take care.